What happens when an apparel guy decides to found a tech company? A game-changing concept that can drive retail sales and build customer engagement. That's what can happen. And it's exactly what one smart entrepreneur did. I'm Jane Singer, and welcome to A Seat at the Table, where we sit down with industry leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs to discover hidden opportunities, big ideas, and best practices. Meet Jeff Gray, founder and CEO of RoboArt Labs, a pioneering AI-powered platform that is transforming how retailers engage with their customers. He's also a co-owner of Creative Apparel Concepts, a company he co-founded over 25 years ago that develops and manufactures apparel and sleepwear programs for major retailers such as Target, Walmart, and Disney. With decades of experience running an apparel company, leading sales strategies, and overseeing product development and manufacturing, Jeff is now at the forefront of AI-driven customization. Through RoboArt, he's giving e-commerce retailers a completely new kind of experience, one where customers can easily generate stunning AI art, personalize it with text, photos, and logos, and order it to be printed on demand with no inventory required. Before we get started, if you're looking to stay ahead of the newest technology that's revolutionizing the apparel industry, as well as gain critical insights about fast-growing markets, key developments in sourcing, and how brands are reacting to the market, then you might want to take a look at Inside Fashion. Each month, you'll get vital information delivered in a reader-friendly format, so you can get up to speed without spending all day reading. You can learn more at InsideFashionLive.net. That's InsideFashionLive.net. I'll also leave a link in the show notes and in the description area. Now let's find out more about what Jeff is doing with AI and how it's helping retailers drive sales. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's really exciting to have you on the show. I think what you're working on is so relevant. Talk about perfect timing. I'm really interested in hearing what you're doing with Robo Labs.
Yes. Well, it's RoboArt Labs,
Oh,
and
I'm sorry.
no, that's fine. So let me just back up a little bit. I'll tell you how I got here, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I have been in the apparel business my whole entire life. I worked in my father's company in college, and even when I was a kid in the basement, um,
Wow.
uh, pressing shirts. But I've been in the apparel business my whole life. I worked for my father's company for around 15 years, doing sales and sales management. And then my father retired. My brothers and I didn't want to have all the machinery and printing machines, and we wanted to be able to outsource all of our production and really focus on product development and creating the art and licensing and all that fun stuff. So we started Creative Apparel about 25 years ago, and I still own the company. I just don't
Wow,
work.
fantastic.
I still don't, I just don't work for them anymore. A couple years ago, I was burnt out from COVID, lot of other reasons, but I decided I wanted to do something different, and I made an arrangement with my brothers, and we made a clean break, and I still own the company. Like I said, an equal partner, 30%, 33%. And I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to start my own business. And then AI hit me in the face. And I started creating, using AI art to create things. And I've always loved art and working with artists on my vision for things. And finally, I could do something with it and be able to express myself in ways that I've never been able to do before. And it was really rewarding to me. And so I said, well, what can I do with this and bring it to, you know, the area that I really know best is working with retailers. And Creative Apparel Concepts was the company that I own with that I still own with my two other brothers. And we sell to major retailers like Target, Walmart, Disney. We also do team sports licensing, sleepwear, lots of different things. And so I have all this experience working with retailers, putting together programs, sourcing, manufacturing, and wanted to really figure out a way I could incorporate that and offer this experience because I love the wow factor experience. And if anytime I can get a wow factor product in front of a buyer, I love it. And AI is definitely a wow factor product, especially when you can show it the magic when it creates art. And so I went on this journey to kind of figure out how to build something with AI. Wasn't exactly sure how it would work, but knew I wanted to make it super easy so anybody can use it. And when I first started using AI, it was not easy to use. It was hard to, it still is hard if you're not used to prompting and coming up with the right words and styles and all that kind of stuff. And so it was really hard to start at first, but I eventually got the hang of it, but wanted to figure out a way to make it easy. And that's what I've done. We're doing all the hard prompting in the background, and we're making it super easy by having the customer fill in the blanks on specific art styles that they can pick out. So our experience is super easy, and we want to be able to, or we're going to be able to bring this to retailers and give them a new experience to give to their customers, so their customers can come to their site, create an incredible piece of art, pick a product to put it on, pick a size if they need to, colors, personalize it, add logos, and then order it. And then it will be printed with no minimums, one at a time, and all from their website and shipped directly from one of our factories for direct to consumer shipping. So if I explain that okay, that's basically the gist of how it's going to work. So
Yeah, I think that's really exciting. And I think that if anything retail needs at the moment, it's newness, it's some kind of excitement. I think that it's been very price focused for a long time, and obviously for all the reasons why. But I think that in order to really motivate sales, you do need newness. You need something that involves the consumer, right? That makes them feel like, oh, this is something special.
right, especially since everybody's looking for new ways to engage their customer, and this is a great new way to engage their customers. And it gives the customer that personalized experience, which is really big right now. Anything that you can, be able to personalize and give that touch of, just satisfaction of creating something about yourself and then ordering and showing people what you made is great, and it's a great user experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that really you have a product that really is the right thing at the right time. Of course, enhanced by AI, but just the whole concept of it, of being able to allow consumers to create their own apparel, so to speak, or at least customize it, is fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit more about how it works? In other words, from the consumer facing side, how would this work?
Yeah, so the consumer would basically come on to a retailer site, and we're going to
Okay.
offer a white label embeddable app. And so it will be look like if it's on, let's say, Target.com, for example, and we have like ugly Christmas sweaters, and you
Right.
create your own custom ugly Christmas sweaters. They could go on to Target.com, hit create ugly Christmas sweaters, type in what they want to create based on the styles that we offer, choose a style that they like, personalize it, and then just order it. Now we handle all the production, the sizing of
Mm.
all the films go right to the factory right when they hit print. They're all sized appropriately and ready for the manufacturing floor. So we're handling all that. We're even doing the AI upscaling because, when you create something on the internet, it's not ready for production. It's not good quality. So we use AI to upscale everything from a small sticker to a really large blanket. So we're taking care of all that stuff behind the scenes. The customer won't even see it. They just place the order and they'll get the order within hopefully a week.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So basically, what we're doing is we're allowing people to fill in the blank. Like I said, we do all the prompting in the background. And so basically we can do it in 4 easy steps. You find your design style, you make your image, you choose a, and you place, and you place your order. So it's just 4 easy steps. And these are what the design styles kind of look like. So we have tons of different design styles that you can design in, from animals to kids' book illustrations. And this is great for kids too. I've worked with some kids on this and they just love it, and it helps them with their spelling too. But you can see all the different design styles we have. We're working with a licensed brand called Precious Moments, where they've trained their AI, their licensed assets with AI, and we can create things with their licensed assets. So lots of different design styles. We're also doing can show you. We're also doing where you can upload your photos and create stuff. Like here's me saying that I want to have a cowboy outfit, and it gives me in a cowboy outfit. Mini me makes me a little mini me guy. So lots of different things that we have to offer. Give yourself some really big muscles, maybe different hair. But you can, these are great gifts to put on mugs and pillows and all that kind of stuff to give to people. So, so that's basically how it works. So this is where we do all the hard work. We create the prompts down here. This is what the customer will see. We have negative prompts, what we put in there. And a lot of people worry about, especially licensing people, because licensing is one area that I really want to get into. Put in what you don't want to have. So if you don't want to have certain brands and obviously certain bad things that can show up, we put them down there. But you can choose different models and all that fun stuff. And it gives you a little playground, as that we call this, and we can keep testing it and testing it. And once we like it, we just save the design and we can publish it to the site. So that's basically the back end of it. So basically you can hit this print design and you can then throw it right on a shirt. So here we can choose product, color, and size. We're in the editor page. So let's say you want to put it on a sweatshirt. Let's say you want to put it on, try a few other colors, maybe blue. I like it on blue. You can add text. You can then preview it and add it to your cart. And once it's added to your cart, that's where the files are sent, and they're upscaled, ready for print for the manufacturer, all ready to go. So that's basically how it works.
Wow, I love it. Now, how does this, how would you differentiate this from digital printing, print on demand kind of a thing?
Right. So print on demand companies, they cater to more of the store owner, where the store owner will create merchandise and put it on their site for ordering, and they can maybe customize it with their name, but they can't actually create the art. We're giving the end user the ability to actually create the art, and then personalize it as well. So from what I've seen, no one else is allowing that end user to create outstanding art for print on demand. So I'm really excited to get this launched out, as well as, my differentiation is going to be offering this to retailers and e-commerce sites, or mostly e-commerce sites, and, give them this experience.
Right. Oh, I think it's very exciting. So people could go on to, as you said, you work with Target and so forth. You could go onto their site, and this would be a feature on the site. So you'd be working through their platform, because like you said, it's white labeled. And then after the customer selected the design, sent it out, it would automatically go out to a factory, it would be printed onto the garment, and then shipped back to the client, but shipped back to the customer through Target or through whoever the retailer was. Would they be handling that side of it?
No, so we handle everything. So
Oh,
once the
okay.
order is placed on Target's site, it just goes right to our factory and shipped right from our factory to the end user. So
Oh,
Target
wow,
doesn't have
nice.
to, do anything. They're just showing our product. We handle everything. Target, the beautiful thing is that Target doesn't have to bring, or I shouldn't say just Target, but any retailer wouldn't have to bring in any inventory whatsoever. It's all on our warehouse floors and shipped per order. So there's no inventory involved and it's all incremental dollars to the retailer.
Right, right, exactly. It doesn't, there's no upfront cost, right? There's no inventory that they have to carry or stock, order fulfillment, all done by you.
Mhm. And it's
Couldn't get any
sustainable.
better.
It's sustainable because one, you're doing one
Yeah,
at a time, you're not printing millions of units that are eventually gonna end up being sold and into discounters with all the extras. So yeah, it's doing one at a time and it's very efficient to print these.
yeah, I think that sounds perfect. And everything that you're doing, is it primarily doing prints on sort of jersey garments? Or are you able to do other categories as well?
No, so we're doing sublimation as well, and it's actually cut and sew sublimation, where you print on fabric and cut and sew the garments one at a time.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, it's all pieced together and sewn one at a time. So that's the other process, and then we're going to be printing on other products too, like pillows, blankets. Um,
Mm,
you name it. If you can think of it, we can print it. We'll be printing on canvas so that people can, create outstanding art and actually print it on canvas and it'll be shipped to you and you can frame it or you can order it framed as well. So just lots of different product items that we'll eventually have.
wow, really interesting. Because typically when you see these things, it tends to skew, right? More towards like t-shirts, hoodies, that kind of thing. You
Yes.
don't see much on wovens or on knits, things like that.
Right. I mean, you see some of it, but I think this just allows you to, be able to create a lot of different types of products, and
Yes.
it gives the person that normally doesn't do this the ability to do it. So there's going to be a lot of choice for them.
Yeah, fantastic. What are price points like? I mean, I know every retailer will set their own prices, but just as a ballpark, is this more of a mainstream product or is this a little bit more high end? How is that?
So we can choose higher end products if we like, and we can choose a simple for if you're looking at t-shirts like a mid-range like Gildan t-shirt that's more popular priced. So we have the ability to go popular priced or even give really nice quality brands, maybe it's Champion or something like that we can print on as well. We'll work with the retailers to come up with product offerings that's meaningful to them and price points as well. And we can also work on the offering so we can customize, specific AI art design styles for them. If they say, "Hey, Jeff, we have this program, we want to do this licensed character," we'll help them train the licensed character and make sure it gets approved through the process excuse me, the appropriate process
Right.
and get that all taken care of. So we're proving out that use case now with Precious Moments, like I said earlier, where we have a licensed asset and we're creating stuff with it. And we're just at the beginning stages of this incredible tool. And it's going to take a little bit for people to get comfortable, but it's starting now, and we're at the very beginning stages of that. So I think once people get used to it, just like any other new technology, it's going to become very acceptable.
Wow, really exciting. And you're so far ahead of the curve with this. It's interesting because right now there is really this race to AI, so to speak, and everyone's trying to get a piece of the pie. And some of the solutions are fantastic, and some of the solutions are not so good. But
Right.
I think you've found a niche here where you can really harness AI. Now, when you're looking at everything that you've done, right, to build this model, what's been the biggest challenge?
We're going to take a quick break now, and then we'll be right back.
We were hiring when we were making 50 to 100K monthly losses.
And why? Welcome to episode 1.
I can't think of a single founder who's been around for a decent amount of time in business who hasn't had their tunnel of year. This was that year. We're going to be okay, yeah, Sheree. Some are going to hear this and think, you TDP. But hear me out. You only have to do the math to understand that very soon we were $500,000 down.
Well, actually, working with tech has been the biggest challenge. Like I tell everybody, I'm an apparel guy, and I'm building a tech company.
Right.
And because all this technology is so new, even the tech companies are having issues with learning the new technologies, using all the different models that are available, and really understanding how to put everything together. Especially when you're working with technology and art, you have to really know
Right.
both of how to deal with both, with the sizing and as well as manufacturing too, what needs to be done. And I found a great team in the US to help me get this done initially. I worked with them for what was supposed to take 3 months, took a year to do.
Wow.
And it just the trial and error of learning new things. With art, there's lots of different models out there that we can use and different techniques and different companies doing different things. And it's learning who all these people are and all these players are with that. And then just learning what's possible with AI. And like we learned, AI upscaling was a big tool that we can use in our back end, and background removal, things like that. Now we're going to be adding shortly erasing and in painting, where you can actually highlight an area and change what that particular area on the piece of art. So technologies are changing on a daily basis, and it's hard keeping up. So I could have launched a year ago, which is I could have been really ahead of the curve. But I even think if I launched a year ago, I think it would have been harder, because I think it was still so new and we're still trying to get used to it. But I really wanted to add in incorporating my whole vision is to get a 3D experience where you can create like all over prints and create pajamas, create button down Hawaiian shirts, and if you can imagine, and do all this, but you need a really good experience. And I found a 3D platform that we were integrating with, and we spent 8 months trying to integrate it, and we couldn't get a good user experience. So finally, after 8 months of banging our heads against the wall, I just made the hard decision to go back to just the regular 2D, which I just showed you, and just get that launch, because I have people who really want this product. And
Right.
so I had to just take some steps back. We made some improvements to the site, and some enhancements, and we're going to go forward with that. Recently, probably the last 3 months, a couple months, I met a new company who found me, and they're called Embody, and they love what we're doing, and they want to be able they're like one of the top companies with 3D visualization, and they work with people like Nike and Adidas and really large customers, and helping on their websites with 3D visualization. And so we've been meeting a lot, and we've kind of partnered together on kind of bringing this 3D experience to where you can actually create the art, and then it'll be on a 3D model. Like if you're creating a a t-shirt, for example, it will be 3D. It will look like 3D. You can spin it around. You can see the front, the back. You can do all over printing really easily. You can personalize different areas. You can change colors of different areas. There's a lot you can do with it. And we're
Right.
very excited about that. And that's going to be like a phase 2.
Wow. Yeah, you're really giving you're giving the consumer access to industry level technology that they can use to create their own designs. That's what it sounds like.
Exactly. And that the whole thing is making it super easy. And that's basically what our whole goal is, to make everything just super easy to do, but give the user control over what they can create. So that's the big thing. And that's, just making it super easy and super a great user experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. You have to have the combination of the product and the user experience. Because if the user experience isn't good, anything else doesn't matter. So I think the fact that you acknowledge that and that you've really worked that out is really to your credit.
Yes. Yes. No, it was what we wanted to do from day one. And I kept telling our tech people is that we want to make this so easy that my great Aunt Edna could go and create outstanding art and put it on a product and order it. So I think we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. When does this launch?
Well, we're finishing up some things on the site. We've got some really large customers that we're working with. We plan on launching in the next, I'm going to guess, 6 weeks with just a direct to consumer site and get it just, kind of do a soft launch and get people
Okay.
using and kind of get a feel for how it's working. But we're working with some big integration with, there's one company that is a very large rewards company, and they work with companies like Apple and Starbucks and all these really large customers. And it's basically they want us to um, people to take their rewards points and be able to buy a custom experience, whether it's a custom hoodie or a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, whatever it is. People can take the rewards points and have this experience. And they're looking for new experiences to offer their customers as well. So this aligns really well with what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that sounds fantastic. It's a lot more interesting and a lot more unique as something to offer people. And as you mentioned before, for promotional items and things like that, to be able to provide that as opposed to something that's very standardized, makes it a lot more interesting because
Mhm.
today most people have so much stuff, right? That offering them more stuff is not necessarily a win. Sometimes it's actually a
Yeah,
burden, right? But to
right.
be able to say, well, you can create your own thing and you do it yourself, that, like you said, it's an experience plus a product.
Right. Yes. And we're excited to work with different kinds of retailers like sports, sports themes, being able to create, a platform that will allow them to maybe upload a picture of themselves and put them in a football outfit or
Mm.
make a custom jersey, change the numbers, change the names, change the textures of the fabric with sublimation. It won't be a real texture change, but through sublimation, it will look like you can make it look like a leather jacket.
Oh,
But
really? Wow.
yeah, but it's sublimated, it's printed. I mean, I have a lot of experience with sublimation, and you can make things look photorealistic on apparel. So you can make textures of fabric like ugly sweaters, for example. You can make the knit, show up and you can do some really cool stuff.
Wow, fantastic. Well, I can't wait to see this in action. I'm sure that, launching when you do, right before back to school and ahead of the Christmas season, it's got to be something that everyone's going to want, right?
I hope so, yes. Again, we also have the ability to use made in USA garments if we have to. I know that there
Okay.
could be a shortage with all the tariff challenges that are going around. So we have the ability to, kind of pivot and use, made in the USA goods for some of our products. So that could be interesting timing if people are having issues bringing stuff in from overseas.
Yeah, well, it looks like that could be an issue, right?
Oh, I think it definitely is going to be an issue. It's just a matter of when it's going to work itself through. I know just from talking to different people, there's a lot of factories on hold. People aren't printing things. They're just
Mhm.
waiting for things to settle down. So there's a lot of issues right now, and people are trying to resource where they get their stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, upstream, people don't really know where to go at the moment, because everybody's been hit. Before it was just China, so people would de-risk from China, right? China wasn't really hit, but it was, you know, looked like things could be problematic.
Right.
But now, nowhere to go, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, so to speak, right?
Exactly. Again, my goal is to get into licensing. I think
Right.
that's a huge area, and once people get comfortable with licensing, I think people offering these experiences with the brands that they love will be a great experience for them. So I see that happening hopefully hopefully this year.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely keep in touch with you and find out how you're going.
Yeah, absolutely. I've also been journaling my experience of starting up a company with Twin City Business, which is a big
Wow.
magazine here in Minneapolis. So you can read up on me on Twin City Business. But I figured it was kind of unique with a guy starting over again at 58 and starting a company, what it's like. But it's been a great journey, and you only live once, and I'm glad I'm doing this. It gives me a whole new experience, and I've learned quite a bit about myself and about this whole process. So it's been great.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I love what you're doing,
Thank you.
and I'd love to continue to hear more as your journey goes along.
Absolutely. I will definitely keep you updated. I will send you the link once we are open to the public, and you can take a look at it and make your own sweatshirts.
Okay, I'll be doing that.
Okay.
Jeff, thank you so much for joining us here. It's just been fantastic. And I think it's very inspiring for people listening who may be thinking about wanting to start something on their own. I think a lot of people in the industry are thinking about that. And at the same time, to be able to see that there's creative opportunities for big retailers that
Mhm.
maybe they're overlooking, right? That something they might want to consider as they're trying to expand their assortment and add experience and newness. So I think you bring a lot to the table.